My name is Thomas and I work for MSF, and I've worked on 4 assignments in Ukraine, Bangladesh, Kiribati and Nigeria as supply chain coordinator. What drew me to MSF was just the impartiality and neutrality of its values. So our funding sources are mostly from private donors and not so much from governments and other institutions that would have other agendas. I did aeronautical engineering at university, and I also did an arts degree majoring in philosophy. And I worked for about 15 years in supply chain and procurement in Australia before then making the switch to MSF. Activities as a supply chain coordinator in MSF can vary. Each day is, to be honest, very different. Some days you could be visiting a refugee camp, trying to understand road conditions within the camp to better facilitate supply chain operations. Other times you could be doing interviews and recruitment, doing recruiting for your team. Other days you could be flying to another location within the country to provide supply chain support to your team that's located out in another part of the country. Well, I think the skills that suit a supply chain coordinator role is obviously the technical supply and procurement skills. You need to have skills in procurement, warehousing, transport and distribution, and also in terms of customs and importation. Those technical hard skills are very important. And of course, on the soft skills side is the communication, working with other people, team management, being able to motivate staff in difficult conditions. They're all very important. I was lucky enough to be sent on some MSF training in their supply chain and logistics headquarters in Bordeaux in France. And that was for a week training course in supply chain, funnily enough. And that's where we learnt more about how MSF does supply chain, because there are nuances to how MSF would do supply chain and procurement compared to other organizations. My assignment at Kiribati was very interesting because we were setting up MSF operations for the first time in this country. And one of the biggest challenges was the supply chain remoteness. I believe it's one of the most remote places in the world, particularly the island that we chose to operate on. And this presented many supply chain issues, especially with that the last leg of the journey from the main island to this outer island we chose to operate on. And a lot of supply chain difficulties, in particular, no real infrastructure existing on the island, which made it very difficult to unload cargo from any ships that would arrive at the island. I would say just do it. Yeah, just throw your hat in the ring and give it a go. You won't know if you like it or not until you do it. I know I had lots of questions before I started. I wasn't sure if I'd love it or hate it. And I think the only way you can answer that for yourself is just to do it and give it your best shot.